Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint. We always try to tailor these deep dives to our listeners, and well, today we're talking to you. Yeah, you. Our successful American retirees, you've worked hard your whole lives, and now it's time to enjoy it right. Yachts, second homes, maybe a vintage wine cellar that would make a French chateau jealous. Yeah. But in all seriousness, let's face it, preserving that wealth, especially with how the economy's been going well, it takes a little more than just hoping for the best. So that's where today's deep dive comes in. We're going to explore gold IRAs. It's a topic that we've seen getting a lot of attention from folks like you, people who have built up their wealth and want to know it's going to stay safe and maybe even grow. Market volatility, inflation, those can feel like party crashers. Eating away at your savings before you can even enjoy another glass of that vintage Bordeaux. So before we get too far into this, I want to point you to something we put together for you. It's a free Gold IRA checklist. It's made specifically for people with, let's say, $100,000 to $5 million or more.
Tucked away in those IRAs, 401k savings accounts, debt, you get the picture. It's full of tips and clear steps to help you open a Gold IRA without any headaches. You can find the link down in the description. All right, so is gold really the safe haven everyone says it is? How do these Gold IRAs actually work in practice? And most importantly, is this the right move for you and your financial goals? To help us answer those questions, we have a real expert in the field.
Hey, it's great to be here. Always happy to help people understand these financial strategies, especially when it comes to protecting what you've worked so hard for.
I love to start with a real-world example,
Yeah.
to make things concrete.
Yeah.
So I was reading about this couple, John and Sarah, retired enjoying life, but also wanted to make sure their nest egg was safe no matter what the market did. They ended up diversifying with a gold IRA, and, well, let's just say they were pretty happy with the results. So this whole idea of diversification, it's more than just a buzzword, right?
You got it. It's all about balance. Think of your portfolio like a good meal. You want the right mix of ingredients. You wouldn't just load up on one thing, right? Diversifying spreads out your risks no matter what the economic weather is like. You're prepared.
Makes sense. And it sounds like gold has a pretty special role in that mix. We always hear about it being a safe haven, but what's the logic behind that?
Well, you can think of gold as that guest who always brings a nice bottle of wine to the party, even when things get a little crazy. It's what we call a hedge against those traditional assets like stocks and bonds. Historically, when those things tend to go down, gold often goes up. It's like having a backup generator for your portfolio. When you need stability, most gold is there to provide it.
So when the market's doing the jitterbug, gold's over there doing the waltz,
Hmm.
keeping things nice and smooth.
Exactly. And for retirees, that peace of mind can be worth more than gold. You're not on a roller coaster with your savings. It's more like a nice, relaxing cruise.
Right. That brings us to gold IRAs specifically. I'm sure some folks listening have heard the term before, but can you break it down for us? What are they and how do they actually work?
Sure. A gold IRA is a retirement account, but instead of holding paper assets, it lets you hold actual physical gold. We're talking gold bars, coins, the
Right.
real deal. It's different from a traditional IRA in that way. With a gold IRA, you're investing in something tangible, something you can hold in your hand, which a lot of people find really comforting.
So it's not just a number on a screen. You actually own a piece of the shiny stuff.
That's right. And that gold is kept safe and secure in an IRS-approved depository. You don't have to worry about keeping it safe at home or anything like that. It's protected and you know it's in good hands.
Okay, this is starting to make sense. But before we go any further, I just want to remind everyone that if you're ready to start exploring this for yourself, we've got that free Gold IRA checklist I mentioned earlier. It can really help you navigate the whole process, and it's linked in the episode description. All right, so let's talk benefits. What are some of the big advantages of a Gold IRA, especially for someone like our listeners? You know successful folks who want to enjoy retirement without constantly checking the stock picker and stressing about every little economic blip.
Well, one of the biggest draws is its potential as a hedge against inflation. We've all seen what inflation can do to your purchasing power over time, like a slow, steady tide wearing away at a sandcastle. But gold, historically, it's held its value really well during those inflationary periods.
So while your dollar might feel a little lighter at the grocery store, your gold could be holding strong.
That's the idea. And that's crucial for retirees who are depending on their savings to maintain their lifestyle. But it's not just about preserving wealth either. It's also about the potential for growth. Gold has a history of solid long-term growth. It's like planting a tree that provides shade and also bears fruit. You get the comfort of stability plus the potential for appreciation.
Okay, so we're not just talking about playing defense here. There's a little bit of an offensive strategy with gold, too.
Exactly. A gold IRA can be a valuable tool for both protection and growth, especially when stability and security are top priorities, which they often are in retirement.
I'm really starting to see why this is resonating with so many people. But I'm sure some of our listeners might have some questions or even some doubts about gold IRAs. I know I did when I first started looking into it.
Of course, it's always smart to approach any investment with a healthy dose of skepticism.
All right, so let's play devil's advocate for a minute. Some people might worry that setting up a gold IRA is complicated, expensive. What do you say to that?
It's a valid concern, but honestly, setting up a gold IRA can be a lot simpler than people think, especially if you work with the right custodian. Think of a custodian as your guide in this process. They walk you through everything, handle the paperwork, and make sure it's all done correctly.
Like a concierge service for your gold IRA, someone to make it all smooth and hassle-free.
Exactly. And as for costs, yeah, there are some fees associated with a gold IRA, but they're usually comparable to what you'd see with a traditional IRA. And when you weigh those costs against the potential benefits we've been talking about, the protection, the inflation hedge, they can start to look pretty reasonable.
That makes sense. Another question that often comes up is whether all gold IRA companies are created equal.
That's a great point. You absolutely want to do your research and find a reputable provider, one with a proven track record, transparent fees, and a real commitment to customer service. After all, this is your retirement savings we're talking about. You want to be confident you're working with someone you can trust.
And speaking of trusted partners, don't forget, we've got that free Gold IRA checklist to help you out. It can be a really valuable resource when you're choosing a provider. Links in the episode description. Now, another misconception I've heard is that gold IRAs only really make sense in a shrinking economy. Like, it's just a rainy day fund for when things are bad. Is there any truth to that?
Not really. While it's true that gold has often outperformed other assets during economic downturns, it can be a valuable asset in any economy. Think of it like a classic piece of art or a timeless design. It never really goes out of style.
So not just a fair weather friend. It's there for you through thick and thin.
Precisely. Gold is a strategic asset. It can provide that sense of security and peace of mind, knowing that a portion of your wealth is well protected.
So finding the right gold IRA provider seems like a pretty crucial part of this whole thing. What are some of the key factors our listeners should be looking for when making that decision?
You're absolutely right. Reputation is key. You want a company with a long history, positive customer reviews, ideally some accreditations from reputable organizations. Transparency is also super important. You want a provider that's upfront about their fees, their storage options, the types of gold they offer.
So no hidden fees or surprises lurking in the fine print.
Exactly. You deserve clear and open communication every step of the way. And of course, top-notch customer service is essential. You want a provider who is responsive to your questions, provides personalized advice, and is truly dedicated to supporting you on your gold IRA journey.
It sounds like having a knowledgeable and responsive provider can make a huge difference.
It really can. The more informed you are and the better support you have, the more confident you'll feel making those important decisions about your financial future.
And to help you stay informed, that's where our free Gold IRA checklist comes in. It's a great tool for anyone who's ready to take that next step. You can find it in the episode description.
Well, this has been a really fascinating conversation. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we?
We have.
From that whole idea of diversification to the nuts and bolts of how gold IRAs work, I think our listeners have gotten a lot of valuable information out of this.
I hope so.
I think so too. So just to recap for anyone who maybe tuned in late, we talked about the importance of having that balanced portfolio right and the role gold can play in protecting you from inflation, those market swings that can keep you up at night. We went through the details of setting up and managing a gold IRA. And of course, we busted some of those common myths that float around out there. Plus, we talked about what to really look for when you're choosing a gold IRA provider, someone you can trust.
Right, and we heard about John and Sarah and Patricia, how they use gold IRAs to really strengthen their financial security. Exactly. Real-world examples always help. So before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
We have ears.
Imagine yourself 10, 20 years down the road, still enjoying that lifestyle you've worked so hard to create, traveling, spending time with family and friends, pursuing those passions you never had time for before. But with this underlying sense of security about your finances, you know you're protected. A gold IRA could be a big part of making that picture a reality. It's about taking control, being proactive, creating a legacy of stability for yourself and your loved ones.
That's a powerful image and makes you think, doesn't it? What could a gold IRA do for you? Your specific goals, your lifestyle, your dreams.
It's a question worth asking yourself. And to help you explore that further, don't forget to download our free Gold IRA checklist. It's packed with tips and resources to guide you along the way. You'll find a link down in the episode description. I want to thank you again for joining us today and sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning into the Gold IRA Blueprint. We hope this episode is giving you the knowledge and the confidence to make those smart decisions about your financial future. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to protecting your wealth. Until next time, happy investing.